All right, Joe, we have to have a serious talk. I think I've crossed an important bridge in my training development, in our training
Yeah.
relationship, and in how we treat other people. So
Okay.
here we are. I think honestly, and I'm just going to be bare bones about this. I think I went too far in the direction of all you need to do is sleep, eat, and work out. Like we've pushed that message a lot, and I'm being genuine. Like I see you laughing,
Yeah.
but like I
Well,
think I
I'm laughing because that's true. I mean, like every episode we end up doing, it's going to be about, 5 foods to help testosterone or 3 things you can do to improve your gains.
yeah.
And it always comes down to like those basic things.
And here's where I think that came from for me, and I'm really glad that you're like on the podcast with me because you're a person that was a really high level athlete. Like people might like realize this with you or not because you're less braggadocious than me, but you were an extremely high level elite Taekwondo fighter. You're one of the best sword fighters in literally the galaxy, the planet of Earth, Atlas One that's circling around the sun. Like you've got a lot of credentials in martial arts, right?
Yeah.
And so you're like a high performer. And I've been a high performer too. I mean, like I fought in the UFC. I won submission of the night in the UFC. I won a world master jiu-jitsu title. Like I've done a lot of things. And I think where it comes to for me or where I'm coming from is I think I get really frustrated with people's not inability. That's probably the wrong word. Unwillingness to really do the work it takes to accomplish their goals. We've talked about this a lot. You ran a gym. It's like I think I've come to a place, and I hope I'm articulating this right, where I don't really have a problem with someone wanting to have a sauna or wanting to have an ice bath or wanting to look into NAD or wanting to look into TRT or wanting to do these things. I think the problem I have is the people who think they can drink alcohol, eat Doritos, live off fast food, and then there's some reason why they're not achieving their fitness goals. Like that's the part of it that really, really bothers me. Like it's the person that's not willing to do the hard work that is now gravitating to these other things to try and put a Band-Aid over what's clearly and obviously such an easy solution.
Yeah, that's a really interesting perspective. I think it leads me to this thought that I think's just been kind of cooking in the back of my head about how hard it actually is to get lean and then to stay lean. And I don't think people understand like the amount of actual suffering that goes into having 6-pack abs. It's not just an easy thing of like, oh, you can just dial in the nutrition and go. No, dialing in the nutrition is a very simple process. It doesn't mean it's easy by any means. And the amount of wiggle room that you have when you get down to like 8% body fat, there is no wiggle room. There is no cheating.
No.
Like you are pushing yourself to the very edge of like what your body is designed to take, especially if you're not naturally a lean person. To really dig into it, like you have to starve yourself down, but you have to do it very methodically. But it isn't any less than actual starvation really to get there. You're chronically, and I mean chronically, under eating.
Yeah,
and for a lot of people, the benefits of being lean aren't really there. For a guy who's already married in a loving relationship, maybe with a couple kids and a good job, like getting 6-pack abs isn't suddenly going to get him more money. It isn't going to get him a promotion at work. And so it becomes really, really hard to justify the amount of work that you have to put into it.
Well, and then so what do? You look for these hacks and shortcuts and things like that. And actually to talk about because we've been talking about football a lot. The viewers might not realize, but Joe is a massive Green Bay fan. I love the NFL. We talk about football. I want to say every single day.
Yeah.
And just because I see him every Sunday now, Tom Brady, like Tom Brady has this legendary reputation of like a maniacal work ethic. He had his trainer, Alex Guerrero. He apparently didn't have a strawberry since 1998. He eats avocado ice cream. Like he does all the things. And to me, I actually applaud that. And it makes a lot of sense. But we're talking about a guy who arguably is the greatest football player of all time. Like he's won at least the greatest performer. He's got 7 Super Bowls. We're talking about a guy that watches 10 hours of game film a day. We're talking about a guy who will not skip his nap time in the afternoon for anything, not even the president of the United States or a White House visit, because he's preparing for next season. Like, I have no issue with Tom doing the no stone unturned type thing. Peyton Manning, I have no problem with him watching 15 hours of game film every single day. I had no problem when Kobe Bryant was talking about, hey, I watch game film from the 60s. It's like, I get it 100%. I think where I really have the issue, and I'm going to bring up our app. The average workouts on our app, on our team, is what, 3.7, 3.8, 3.9?
Yeah, not quite 4. I don't think we've ever been able to get the whole team over 4.
Over 4. And we have a reputation of being hard. Like, the number one comment we get is, wow, this is what real training looks like. You guys are savages. This is the hardest thing I've ever done. Like, we don't mess around. And so we end up with a very committed group of people. Like, our group of people that we have, and I'm so proud of them on Team Maximus. They are the people who are extremely committed, Joe, compared to your average person. Like, we have the quintessential hardest worker in the room. But think about that. We have the people that work the hardest, and our workout average is 3.8. So I'm thinking, okay, what happened to those other 3.2 days? And we tell people a lot, hey, if you can get one more day, that's going to make a massive amount of difference. You can get one more day, that's going to make a massive amount of difference. And I think that's infiltrated our message to the point where we're just like a broken record. You need to work out more. You need to eat right. You need to sleep right. Go away.
Yeah.
There are people, though, in our app who show up 7 days a week.
There's quite a few.
we just launched Ladder Nutrition. And by the way, if you're interested in the app, we'll put a link in the show notes to it. It's a tremendous resource. It's actually the workouts I follow and Joe follows. Like, I just did shoulder day this morning, and it crushed me, by the way. I was might have been cursing you a little bit. But the thing I think I'm trying to say is, for those people, we just launched, I know where I'm going. We launched Ladder Nutrition. There are people who need help tracking macros. Now, the person who's 200 pounds overweight, that has never worked out a day in their life, that's been sedentary for 10 years, do they need to really worry about whether they got 200 or 205 grams of protein? Probably not. But there are a lot of people where there's that saying, like, what gets measured gets managed, and you've got to track and you've got to figure stuff out. And I've actually been playing with the nutrition app, and it's really cool. I didn't realize, actually just the other day, I didn't realize on a day-to-day basis how few carbohydrates I eat. Like, I was like, whoa, I'm really actually low on carbohydrates. I also didn't realize how much I was probably overshooting my protein. And so I looked at this and I'm like, I find myself lagging some days, and this might be why, because the other day I had 15 grams of carbohydrates, and I'm like, no wonder I couldn't, like, my workouts have been lagging in the gym, because I think I've just gravitated. We talk about protein so much. I think I'm always just meat. At any rate, It's a hole that I'm working to fix. I had a bunch of potatoes and a bunch of rice yesterday. I felt like Superman today. I am good. The point is, there are people. Don't let us gaslight you into thinking it's as simple as showing up to work out and all that stuff. There are people who need to track their macros, need to track their calories. You just bought a sauna, need to look for other ways to recover, need like that edge. And so that's, I think over the next month or so, I think that's kind of where I want to take the podcast. Like, let's aim, we've aimed to the person that just needs to get to work.
Yeah.
But for the person who's genuinely doing the work, a person like you, you're showing up every day. When's the last time you missed a workout? 2001? Like, okay, so you're doing the work. You pay attention to your food. You try to pay attention to your sleep. You bought the sauna. You have the ice bath. You have the things. Like, what are the things that can help you get better, if you will?
Yeah. I like this. Let's just assume that people have heard our message, right? Let's just assume that they're on there, and we can take it from that point. And if you haven't heard that message, guess what? You're going to figure out that that's what it takes.
There's a bunch more. There's a bunch more podcasts. So I think I want to start this, Joe, before we go down the road of like red light therapy, NAD, hyper ice boots, Normatec. I think hyper ice owns Normatec now, but like all the things that you could go spend money on. I think I want to start on a really simple one that you and I have had to struggle with in various positions of our life is how do you mentally turn yourself on to train?
Yeah.
Because I just want to paint a picture for you. The hero of our story, Joe Cebula, this morning got his 2 kids ready for school, had to do some editing, had to do some work. You just shot a bunch of insane footage for a TV series that you're creating. You drove, how far is the drive to Montana?
Almost 900 miles.
Okay, so 900 miles there and back in a couple of days. Like you did a whole thing. So like I can't imagine it's really easy to just like grab some dumbbells and bust out an effective workout in your basement. Like that's a real struggle, right? Like how do you go from being a dad, being an editor, being a desk worker, being a whatever, to like trying to be an athlete in the gym because that's part of your income. So like give me an idea. Well, what goes through your mind when you go to transition from like Joe the dad, Joe the editor to like Joe the, hey, I need to be an athlete right now? Like what are some of the things that you do?
Sure. And I think I kind of have to preface this because there is that sense of discipline. Like I'm very dedicated to my program. I've been practicing this discipline for a long time. So I have that in spades. And so there, in my mind, there is just an expectation that I'm going to do some work today. What I've actually had to learn in more recent years is that not every day I have to find the will to like crush myself. Some days it's okay to just go out and kind of half-ass a workout just to check the box and come back and do more work later. And that's okay. But that didn't happen by accident either. And so I kind of want to go back and talk about what builds that up and how you get to the point where it isn't a question anymore. And I think the big thing is, it's like you said, there's got to be a switch that turns on, because you have to assume that you're not going to feel like doing it. You're not going to feel motivated. You know, when you're 2 weeks in to a new training program and you haven't been eating your normal amount of calories, like the energy levels sink, motivation is gone. Like my motivation is to go lay down and take a nap, you know? So we can't count on that. So what we have to do is, like you said, we got to find those things that flip that switch. And one of the most important ones to me is putting on the uniform. And we've talked about this before, but once I stop what I'm doing and I go change and I put on my workout shorts, I put on my workout shirt, I grab my workout hat, whatever it is, like now I'm on my way. The motion is already going towards my workout. And then it's just a matter of keeping it going. But I think that is number one for me, is put on the uniform and get into that mindset. It's like lacing up your shoes before a football game or something, right? Like make it real, make it a thing that you're doing.
I can relate to that. I've done a lot of sports psychology stuff, and I worked with a sports psychologist, and he used to call it signaling, right? But it was like, what is your cue to like get you ready to go to work? One of the things that I used to struggle with was wrestling was like a passion and a hobby and like a labor of love. Fighting was like something I loved doing. There's guys that love going to jiu-jitsu because it like just fills their emotional buckets. But for me, it needs to be work. Like I'm not going to jiu-jitsu to have fun. I'm trying to win stuff, Joe. Like there's somebody in 3 months that's trying to take my head off. Maybe not in jiu-jitsu, but certainly when I was fighting MMA. And I needed to find a way to cue myself to, no, you're not going to work out right now. You're going to your job. You're not going to just train right now. You're going to your job. You get paid for this. And by the way, I fought in the UFC when we all had full-time jobs too. Yeah, so it wasn't like it was my real gig. So one thing he used to do is I used to have fight gear that I only wore when I was at fight practice. I didn't wear it to the gym on a normal day. I didn't wear it out to Walmart. I would put on my fight outfit. But even before that, Joe, he would have me have a shower and shave like I was going to a job appointment. Like it was like I wasn't just waking up and rolling into the fight gym and trying to fight. Like I was going, like almost, you see this actually, forget everything I said. The best example I have of this is the game day suit from the NFL player. Like you're going to work. There's like a real thing to that. Like you see Jordan Love show up in his tie and his thing, like his game day fit, because that's the thing. Like, we're not just going to another practice. We're not just going to another workout. We are going to do our job. And there's something about that cueing that cues the intensity. So I love your idea about having like you got your ladder hat and your ladder shirt on. Like, I'm going to work right now because I think it's really hard for all the dads out there, like, and the moms, to change dirty diapers, to drop your kid off at preschool, to drop your kid off in the drive-in line, whatever you're doing, and then go in your ratty sweats, or you wake up and get your underwear and go into the garage and try to work out. Like, that's really hard to flip that switch, and especially, Joe, when you're training from home.
Yeah, because I think you said something really, really key, is that some people are just doing it for fun.
Yeah.
But it's not always like happy fun. Bruce Lee said a good fight is like a small play, but it's played seriously. And you think about something like the game of chess. People don't play chess because they hate it, right? They play chess because it's fun, but they're not laughing. This isn't like the most exciting thing. They're literally just sitting there moving pieces on a board, but there's something engaging about it and something very serious about it, especially like really high-level chess grandmasters. They're having a different kind of fun. And I think you have to accept that some days you're going to go to the gym and it's like, oh boy, this is fun. I'm working, I'm moving, there's a new challenge here. But most of the days you're going to the gym are kind of repetitive. To be effective, your workout programs can't be just constantly novel. I mean, CrossFit kind of plays with this, but there has to be some progression and some repetition of movements, or you're never going to get good at anything, right? And so it has to be engaging. It has to be fulfilling. It has to be something that you're interested in, but it doesn't have to be fun. Like, fun and funny are different things. In fact, this going down my martial arts thing again, the word for fun in Korean is the same as interesting. So if you're going to say like, oh, I think that roller coaster is fun, it's like saying that roller coaster is very interesting to me. It has the same connotation. And I've always sort of like liked that about working out. Yeah, working out is fun. I like how I feel when my heart rate's up. I like how I feel when my muscles are swole. I like how I feel when I'm pushing, and I'm getting to those limits that I have. I'm kind of working in that range. That is fun to me, but it isn't like going to a water park. It isn't just going to the movies and sitting back and being entertained.
And I think we've done something as a society where we've tried to like equate fun with easy, and that's not the case. Like, fun can be hard. Fun can be hard. Risky. Fun can be intense. That's fine. Yeah. And easy, by the way, doesn't need to be boring. It's kind of like this thing. And that's where people lose it as well, because we preach show up, show up, show up. Yeah. But the thing we haven't preached enough is you can't just show up. Like, you can't just swipe your membership card and expect good things to happen. Like, I get you went to your garage. We talked about the old guy at your old workout club, the dude that comes in every day, does the same exercises, never progresses. He's got showing up down to a science, but he hasn't progressed in 15 years. Like, I think we've forgotten, we've worked so hard on we just need to get people to show up, that it's like, no, you have to show up and work hard. And so, to circle back, the first strategy, if you're working out from home and you have a hard time manufacturing intensity, you log on to the app and you go to workout. I'm assuming you're going to be a member of the app after the show, by the way. But you log on to the app and you go to work out and you have a hard time squeezing out that extra couple of reps, pushing through, like actually suffering a little bit. You need a cue to get yourself ready to train. You can't get up from your desk in your ratty clothes and go to your living room where you got pictures of your wife and your kids and a horse and your dogs and plants everywhere, and you've got some TV show on in the background, like you're watching ESPN, and expect yourself to work hard. So you need a cue, and the cue could be you have a workout uniform. Joe, you got your ladder shirt, your ladder hat.
Yep.
You guys, you got something nice from Vuari. You got something nice from Lululemon.
Ooh, I got a good tip on this one. Who's your favorite superhero? Grab that T-shirt.
Yeah,
grab that. You like Batman? You think Batman's cool? You're training to be Batman? Put on your Batman shirt. Like, it's time to go to work, guys.
But don't wear that to like your kid's party. Like that outfit, whatever you choose to wear, that's your game day fit. You wear that before a workout. And the more you stick true to that, the more solid that cue becomes. Now, if you wear that shirt all the time, you're sending your body confusing signals. But if the only time, Joe, you ever wear a ladder shirt is when you're working, you associate with that work. This works in reverse with sleep. And I'm not going to go down this whole rabbit hole. We'll save this for a sleep science episode. But there is a rule that if you're traveling in a hotel room, you should never sit on the bed with your laptop and do work. You should sit in the desk, because instantaneously now your body has associated that bed with a place of work, and it's hard to sleep. It's like, what's the bedroom for? Sleep and the other fun stuff. That's it. You shouldn't argue. You shouldn't do work. So like this cueing can work to a negative too. But the number one thing, get yourself an outfit, have a shower, do whatever you got to do to cue. Now, the second thing, and I'm going to put words in your mouth because I really want you to talk about this. The second thing you could do to manufacture intensity is, I remember you telling me a story that you were having a hard time training in your basement. It was kind of dark. It was dingy. It's where you do your editing. You need a separation. And so tell the viewers what you did in your garage.
So I built a garage gym. I put a weightlifting platform. I got a rack. I actually invested in it quite a bit. That was my big COVID project too, which worked out because, you know, a lot of the public gyms were closed. So no excuses. It's right there. Okay.
But you also went deeper. And I guess I should have specified.
I see where you're going with this. I see where you're going. One thing that I did is I didn't just throw that stuff in there. I personalized it quite a bit. So the posters that are on the wall, right? The things that I've hung in that room are like my accolades. So I've got my team poster from when I was on the Taekwondo team at university is right there in a shadow box with all the national medals that I've won. You know, all, the sword fighting stuff. I've got my black belt certificate there. I've got medals I've won in competition, right? I've got pictures of me with various teams that I've trained with, all hanging on the wall in that garage gym.
Yep. So you turned it into a place of work. Like you did the thing. And like, I want you to close your eyes if you're watching this podcast right now and picture. When you see Dan Orlovsky talk on ESPN, and I love Dan, by the way, I think he's one of the better like commentators. But when he is, or Damian Woody's another guy that's phenomenal. But when I watch them film from home, Joe, they're not doing the Zoom in the middle of their kitchen. They're not doing the Riverside or whatever software ESPN uses to get in there. I'm sure they have their own stuff. But like, they're not doing it from like a recliner in the living room. Like they're doing it in their office, and their Heisman trophy is on the shelf, or like their Super Bowl replica trophy, or an autographed ball from their team. Like they've made their place of work look like, and surprise, surprise, you work in the movies is, I want to call it your side hustle, but it's like really like a full-time thing for you. But they've turned it into a set. You essentially turned your workout area into a set. Like what sets the scene right now for hard work? I walk through the door. Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm like a 9th degree black belt in this. Okay. I won this. I have this. This is this sword the master gave me for this. This is a picture of me in a ladder ad that was featured nationwide. Like you go in and it is like, okay, it is time to get stuff done, versus again, grabbing dumbbells with like a show on in the background and you're just trying to work out in your living room, which is like not a place of work. That's where you watch football and eat chips.
Yeah.
Those things aren't going together. So that's another way I think you can cue yourself, is actually have a corner of your house where it's like a training center, and that's the only thing that happens in there. Mm-hmm. That's your thing. Like my garage, Joe, there's no cars that are parked in there. There's like it is like
I've never once seen your garage as anything other than a gym.
This is just where we train, and that's it. And I actually have an interesting story about this. I started to like amass an incredible amount of workout equipment. So in my basement right now, I have a hydro, I have an exercise bike, I have a pull-up bar, I have boxes. Beans said to me, my 16-year-old, I shouldn't assume everyone knows who he is, but he goes, "Hey Dad, we're building another gym, huh?" I go, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, it's just every day more stuff ends up down here." Because sometimes I like to do some activity while I'm hanging out with my kids, Joe. I will tell you, it is easier mentally for me to get a hard workout in the garage than it is in my basement. Because the basement's where I play video games and relax. Like that's where I do like my recovery type work. Like I'm spinning on the bike watching like the new season of The Witcher or whatever I'm doing. But like I'm not, if I need a hard interval workout, I actually don't even do it in the garage. I go to the gym because that's where I work. That's my job. That's my thing. Like I don't go to the gym to hang out. I go to train.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what it's for, you know, like that's, I'm not also parking a car in my garage gym. Like that space is separated. Yeah.
Right. So we're going to end this with one more tip. So tip number 1, get yourself a uniform. It helps you cue. Number 2, if you work out from home, build yourself a space of work, build yourself a workout office, put stuff on the wall from your athletic career, put a picture of your transformation. There was a guy in our app, I can't remember his name right now, but he lost like 150 pounds. He put that I was like, oh my, like this is insane. We see this stuff all the time. Put a picture of your transformation on the wall if you don't have anything else. Like, because you're reminded that you work hard. So that's number 2. The number 3 thing I would suggest, Joe, and I know you do this, make yourself an appointment to work out every single day. And yes, we've tied this to showing up in the past, but no, I want you to set up some importance for that time of day. You're not trying to squeeze your workout in and show up. You're not trying to just show up when you can. You have highlighted this in your calendar, in your diary, as the pinnacle of your day. Like you're getting ready for it. I've got an appointment today at 1:45. It's all I can think about right now. It's like my day is having a hard time getting going because I got to get that appointment. Turn that into your workout because it's a pretty important appointment. If your workout, you know it's happening at 3:00, you're thinking about it at 9 a.m. You're thinking about it at 10 a.m. And yours is in the morning. You get your stuff.
I do mine right away. Kids go to school and my appointment begins.
So you're thinking about it the night before. You're like, I am waking up and I am paying myself first. And I'll bet you just the act of doing that, I don't know if it's 10%, 15%, 20%, but I'll bet you're going to go that much harder than just trying to wing it and get your workout in when you can.
Yep.
Like I can tell you that's the only time you don't answer your phone is in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I can
when
tell
you text me, training.
You're like ready to go. Like that's a real thing when you make a commitment. There's that thing. I don't know if you remember this from your seminar days, but if you host a free seminar, nobody shows up.
Right.
If you charge even $1, you have a full house.
Yep.
Because once people have paid for their ticket, they're showing up.
Yeah.
They're in. You can't rely on, it's like the movies, Joe. How many times have you said, hey, we're going to go to a movie today and you don't go? But if you go buy that $7 ticket from Fandango, you are 100. You can afford to blow $7. But even if it's inconvenient, you will break your back to get to that $7 movie.
And get there early. Even though you don't even want to sit through an hour of previews, you will get there early because you paid for those previews.
You made the appointment.
I want to tie this back to something I was saying earlier too, because I said this has been my system for years and years. And so the act of that discipline is key. So if you have this appointment and it's on your calendar and you honor it day after day after day after day, within 30 days, 60 days, you're not thinking about it. You're not trying to convince yourself to do it. It's just what you do. And whether you feel like it or not is almost irrelevant.
Yeah, I've got a guy that has been doing this. He started with me about 3 months ago, and it was really hard for him at the start to come in. But he booked it off in his calendar. And now he says he almost can't do without it. Because he's starting, and he says he finds, it's actually really interesting that this came up, and I didn't mean for this to come up or use him as an example, but he was saying that he comes in at 9 a.m, that starting around 7, he starts to feel more energized. Like he starts to rev his engine. He starts to like, hey, I know where I'm going today. Like I know, versus at the start, it was like, am I going to show up? Am I not going to show up? So now when he comes through, the intensity's up, and we talk about showing up. But what are the aggregate gains? I don't even know if that's the right term, but over a year, if you get 5 extra reps of workout, if you get 10 extra reps of workout, if you get 20, if you get 10% harder, Like I can tell you what it is in the NFL. That's the difference between a multi-million-dollar contract and getting cut. Right? Like the willingness to just go that extra little bit. That's the difference in Taekwondo between making the Olympics and not making the Olympics. Is like, it's literally like that one practice you showed up to or missed in like 1997. You know what I mean? Like that's the reality. So there's your 3 tips to recap, Joe. You're gonna get an outfit. You're gonna get yourself a uniform. You're gonna treat it like it's important. 2, you're gonna build yourself a space. You're gonna build yourself a shrine. You're gonna make a movie set that is reminiscent of hard work. It's got to be separated from the places in the house where you relax. And then number 3, you're going to book it like an appointment. You're gonna place some importance on it. You're going to treat it like a first date. You're going to treat it like a big job interview. You're going to put that in that calendar. And I would even recommend, Joe, Sunday night, laying your calendar out for the week. Yeah. You are now telling yourself psychologically, this is the most important thing I have to do to manufacture intensity. So there you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
Listen, guys. We're going to start getting into a lot more of this type of stuff. If you want to watch all of the podcast material on you just need to sleep more, you need to eat better, you need to do this. We've said it a million times. I mean, I just said it right there. You don't even need to. You just got it. All right. Just make sure you tune in for the next couple months because we are going to be hitting a lot of this stuff. We're going to go down some science roads. We're going to talk about sauna protocols, maybe some ice bath protocols, maybe some myths, some things to pay attention to. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to get back to some, I think some performance level training, Joe.
Yeah. I think it's where you and I really like to be. And we'd like everybody else to be there too.
It's the difference between just go lift heavy weights versus, hey, you need to lift 5 sets of 3 at 83% because this is that. And that's where you shine, right? Like so it'll be great. So if there's any topics you want us to discuss, please put them in the comments below. If there's any performance type stuff like, hey, Bobby, what do you think about the BPC? What do you think about this, Joe? What do you think about this workout percentage? Like put your questions in the comments and it'll actually, I mean, I bet you we need podcast material. We'll dedicate a podcast to it.
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
We got time.
Subscribe, smash the like button as the kids say. 6, 7 or whatever the thing is. And we'll see you next time.